ambassador of the Galactic Council, stood before the observation window of Station Omega. His 4 eyes watched the small transport vessel approaching the docking bay. Inside that ship were the beings that had terrified half the galaxy in just 3 standard years. Humans. The word itself had become a whisper among the stars, a warning, a promise of violence that no species wanted to receive. The Council had made a terrible mistake. They had underestimated the newcomers from the small blue planet called Earth. When the Empire attacked human colony ships near the Outer Rim, the Council expected the young species to fall quickly. They had conquered 17 civilizations. Their warriors were bred for battle. Their ships numbered in the thousands. But something went wrong. Something that changed everything the galaxy believed about warfare. The humans fought back, not with desperation, not with fear. They fought with a cold efficiency that made even the oldest council members feel something they had not felt in centuries: terror. Remembered the first reports from the front. A small unit of human soldiers had landed on Prime, just 47 of them against a garrison of 12,000 warriors. The council observers expected a quick slaughter. Instead, they watched those 47 humans destroy the entire garrison in 6 hours. They moved through buildings like shadows. They killed without sound. They disappeared and reappeared where the least expected. By morning, Prime had fallen. The Council immediately classified these humans as elite special forces. Surely, they reasoned, only the most trained warriors of any species could accomplish such a feat. The regular soldiers must be different. They must be weaker, more normal, more like the other species of the galaxy. They were wrong. General of the Republic was the first to discover the truth. His fleet had engaged what human communications called a regular infantry division during the border conflict of Sector 7. They were not weak. They had fought alongside the Council for 800 years. Their soldiers were disciplined. Their tactics were proven across countless battlefields. The human infantry division numbered about 10,000 soldiers. General brought 30,000 of his finest warriors. The battle should have lasted weeks according to all strategic calculations. It lasted 4 days. On the 5th day, General sent his final transmission to the Council. His voice had trembled as he spoke. These are not special forces. These are their regular soldiers. Every single one of them fights like our most elite warriors. I do not think we understand what we are facing. The Council refused to believe it. They sent investigators to Earth. They requested access to human military records. What they found kept the Council leadership awake for many nights. The humans who had destroyed Prime were not special forces. They were Marines, a branch of military that humans considered standard. The 47 soldiers were young. Most had less than 3 years of training. On Earth, they were considered average. Nothing special. Just regular warriors doing their regular duty. Counselor Myra of the Collective was the one who asked the question that silenced the entire chamber. If these were their regular forces, then what are their special forces truly capable of? No one had an answer. No one wanted to find one. Ambassador watched the transport ship complete its docking procedure. Today, he would meet the human delegation. Today, he would look into the eyes of the species that had rewritten the rules of galactic warfare. His assistant approached with a data tablet containing the visitor manifest. The human delegation consists of 12 individuals, his assistant said. 10 are diplomatic staff, 2 are security personnel. Felt his scales tighten. Just 2 security personnel. Any other species would bring dozens of guards to a council station. The humans brought 2. Either they were supremely arrogant or supremely confident, suspected the second option. The airlock doors opened with a soft hiss. The humans walked into the station with calm purpose. They wore simple uniforms. Their faces showed no fear, no uncertainty. They looked around the station with the casual interest of tourists visiting a new city, as if they had nothing to worry about. As if the entire Galactic Council posed no threat to them at all. The lead human stepped forward. She was tall for her species. Her eyes were dark and sharp. When she smiled, noticed it did not reach those eyes. "Ambassador," she said, "I am Director Helena Cross. Earth sends its greetings to the Council." Returned the greeting in the formal manner. He tried to keep his voice steady. "Welcome, Director Cross. The Council hopes this meeting will bring peace between our peoples." Director Cross nodded slowly. Peace would be acceptable. War would be unfortunate for everyone involved. There was no threat in her words. She stated it as simple fact, the way one might say the sun rises in the morning, found that more disturbing than any direct threat would have been. The negotiations lasted 3 days. During that time, learned more about humanity than he ever wanted to know. He learned that humans were persistent hunters on there. Their ancestors chased prey for days without rest. They simply outlasted anything they hunted. They never stopped. They never gave up. Evolution had built them to endure. He learned that humans considered war a science. They studied it. They refined it. They had been fighting each other for their entire history. While other species evolved past internal conflict, humans embraced it. They became masters of destruction before they ever reached the stars. He learned about their special forces, the ones they actually called special forces, Navy SEALs, Delta Force, SAS. These were names whispered with reverence even among humans themselves. If their regular soldiers were nightmares, could not imagine what these elite warriors must be. On the second day, an incident occurred that proved his fears correct. A group of extremists had infiltrated the station. They wanted revenge for their fallen empire. They brought weapons. They brought explosives. They took the entire East Wing hostage. 47 council members, 12 attackers. The station security prepared for a lengthy standoff. They calculated a rescue operation would take at minimum 6 hours to plan and execute. They worried about casualties. They debated tactics. They called for reinforcements. The 2 human security personnel looked at each other. One of them spoke into a small device on his wrist. Then they both walked toward the East Wing. "Wait," the station security commander called out. "You cannot go in there alone. You need support. You need a plan." The taller human paused. He looked back with something like amusement. "We have a plan. We walk in. They die. We walk out." That was the entire plan. Watched them disappear through the security doors. For 7 minutes there was silence. Then the doors opened again. Both humans walked out. Neither had a scratch on them. Behind them the hostages stumbled free, all 47, alive, unharmed. The 12 attackers were dead, each one killed with precise efficiency. 3 had their necks broken. 4 had been shot through vital organs. 5 had been killed with blades. The security footage showed the entire engagement had lasted less than 2 minutes. The security commander stood in shock. His scales had turned pale. He looked at the 2 humans with something between fear and disbelief. "What unit are you from? What is your training classification?" The shorter human shrugged. He seemed almost bored. "Regular Marine infantry, nothing special. We enlisted right out of high school." The commander's legs gave out beneath him. He sat down heavily on the floor. His mind could not process what he had witnessed. These were regular soldiers, standard infantry, the baseline of human military capability. If these were average, then the special forces were something beyond imagination, something that should not exist, something that made the greatest warriors of the galaxy look like children playing at war. Director Cross appeared beside. She watched her security team walk casually toward the coffee station as if nothing had happened. Her expression remained calm, professional. "I apologize for the disturbance," she said. "My people do not like it when diplomatic proceedings are interrupted." Found his voice with difficulty. "Those men, they are truly regular soldiers." Director Cross nodded. "Corporal and private first class, good men, reliable, about average for Marines their age." Average, the word echoed in his mind. If these were average, then Earth held an army of monsters, an entire planet of beings who considered this level of violence to be normal, standard, every day. He thought about the special forces, the real ones, the ones who trained for years beyond what normal soldiers received, the ones who were selected from millions as the absolute best humanity could produce. He thought about them and felt his heart's beating too fast. The Council needs to know, he said quietly. They need to understand what humanity truly represents. Director Cross smiled that cold smile again. They will understand soon enough. We are not monsters, Ambassador. We do not seek war, but we are very good at it when war finds us. Evolution made us this way. History refined us. And now we are here among the stars. Completed his report that night. He submitted it to the highest levels of Council leadership. He recommended immediate and permanent peace with Earth. He recommended trade agreements, cultural exchange, anything that would keep humanity happy and content. In his final paragraph, he wrote words that would be quoted for centuries across the galaxy. We labeled their common soldiers as special forces. We could not comprehend that regular humans possessed such capability. Now I must ask the Council to consider a terrible truth. If their regular army frightens us this deeply, we must ensure we never discover what their true special forces can do. Some questions are better left unanswered. Some doors should remain forever closed. The Council approved the peace treaty the next day. They approved it unanimously. Not a single member voted against it. For the first time in galactic history, every species agreed on something without debate or discussion. Humanity had earned its place among the stars, not through diplomacy, not through trade, through fear, through the simple reality that even their weakest warriors were stronger than the galaxy's best. And somewhere on Earth, in hidden bases and training facilities, the real special forces continued their work. They trained for battles that would never come. They prepared for wars that the galaxy would do anything to avoid. The universe had learned an important lesson. Humans were not a species to be conquered. They were a species to be respected. And more importantly, they were a species to never, ever make angry. Years passed after that first meeting. Ambassador rose through the Council ranks. He became the primary liaison between the galaxy and Earth. He attended human ceremonies. He visited their cities. He watched their children play in parks and their workers build ships that rivaled anything in the galaxy. He saw the other side of humanity, the gentle side, the creative side, the side that wrote poetry and painted art and cried at beautiful music. But he never forgot what he witnessed on Station Omega. He never forgot the casual way those two Marines eliminated 12 armed attackers. He never forgot the cold efficiency, the absolute lack of hesitation. Humanity carried both sides within them, beauty and destruction, creation and death. They embraced both without contradiction. One evening, during a celebration on Earth, a young human child approached. The girl could not have been more than 7 years old. She looked up at him with wide, curious eyes. "Are you really an alien?" she asked. Lowered himself to her level. "Yes, I am ambassador of the Galactic Council." The girl smiled with pure innocent joy. "That is so cool. Do you have special powers?" Thought about the question. On any other world his species would be considered formidable, strong, dangerous. But here on Earth, surrounded by humans, he felt small, weak, ordinary. "No," he admitted, "I do not have special powers, but your people do." The girl laughed as if he had told a wonderful joke. "We are not special. We are just regular humans." Regular humans. Those words would haunt for the rest of his long life. Because if humanity considered themselves regular, then the galaxy had no framework to understand what special truly meant to them. The Council continued to wonder about the elite forces, the hidden warriors, the soldiers who operated in shadows and left no trace. They wondered, but they never asked. Some mysteries were safer left unsolved. And so the peace held, year after year, decade after decade. Humanity expanded across the stars as partners and friends rather than conquerors. They brought their music and their art and their strange humor. They built and they created and they laughed under alien suns. But in quiet corners of every council world, leaders kept one truth close to their hearts. They remembered the regular Marines. They remembered the speed and the violence and the terrible efficiency. And they made very certain that humanity never had a reason to send anything more. The galaxy had learned. Some forces should remain sleeping. Some warriors should never be called to war. And some species should simply be left in peace. The humans seemed happy with this arrangement. They smiled their strange smiles and shook hands and traded goods across 1,000 worlds. They acted as if they had forgotten their own capabilities. Perhaps they had. Perhaps they truly saw themselves as ordinary. But the galaxy remembered. The galaxy would always remember. And deep in the archives of Station Omega, a security recording remained. 2 regular soldiers walking calmly toward 12 armed enemies, and 7 minutes later walking calmly back out, as if it was nothing, as if it was just another day, just another regular day for regular humans doing regular work. That recording became the most watched file in Council history. Every military academy studied it, every strategic commander analyzed it, and every single one of them reached the same conclusion. Peace with humanity was not just preferable, it was absolutely essential. Because if this was regular, then special was something the galaxy could never afford to witness.